All right. Hello, everyone. So, yes, change of scenery. I see that y'all have already been active in the comments. So excited to have, so grateful to have all of y'all here. But yes, in case you cannot tell, I am not at my normal location, and that is because we did decide to evacuate. If y'all been following Hurricane Idalia, however they're pronouncing this, it is projected to be a major hurricane, at least like a Cat 3, which is a major hurricane. I'm a native Floridian. I've definitely had my fair share of hurricanes, but this is actually my first major one I've had as an adult that actually is hitting my place. So our homestead that we're at is kind of new. The trees have not been tested since clearing, and so we decided for them to be thoroughly tested without us being there. So I know many of y'all have reached out to me with this hurricane, wondering if I'm going to be affected. Yes, I will be. And I do thank you, everyone, for praying. Please continue to pray. We do have animals. Is that what not? We can't see the video feed? Just audio. Okay, give me a second here because I can see. Okay, let me stop. Yeah, the camera is working. All right, give me just a second. At least you can hear me, but I'm going to stop the camera and let me start it again. Okay, let me know if you can see me now. Okay. Also, my husband is always helping me on these lives, but he has to be up in a different location. Okay, weird, y'all. Hold on for a second. Okay, just hold on. Okay, let me. Yeah, it should be working because I can see myself. So we still don't have video, but we have audio. Well, that's good. You can hear me. Okay, let me do both. And okay. Please bear with us as we're having technical difficulties. Please let me know if that worked. If you can. Okay, you still cannot see my video, for heaven's sakes. Okay, I think we're good now. Okay, I think we're good. Hey, so here I am talking about a different location and y'all can't even see it. So I apologize for that because I could see it on my end. But okay, so back to it. Yes, new place. We did evacuate. So please pray that, for everyone going through this. Basically, if you've been watching it, the coastline, we are in the Big Bend area of Florida, which we describe it to our children as like where the trigger is if Florida was a gun. But we are, well, hold on, let me get the camera. Big Bend of Florida. So all of those places that are getting predicted to get 10 to 15 feet of storm surge, that's kind of like our coastal playground. We were just at Horseshoe Beach not that long ago, and I have a feeling that might be the last time that we will be seeing it as it was. Same thing with Cedar Key. So many prayers. Pray for our animals. So we do have friends that are nearby watching who can get to our place if need be, but it's going to be a bit crazy, and we're just still keeping our eyes out for the storm. But a Cat 3 is no joke. It is serious, especially if you're on water, if you're in manufactured homes, all those places. So, Migdalia, we got in Jacksonville, which I think y'all are going to pretty much, a lot of Florida is going to be affected, all down the coastline of the Gulf, pretty much at least getting a lot of storm surge. So just pray for us here. So let me look at here. We've got a lot of people, a bunch of people saying that they can see me now. So that's good. Well, welcome, y'all. We are going to be getting into this. And for my other fellow Floridians and in South Georgia, because y'all are going to be affected too, and parts of South and North Carolina, I think, we're praying for all y'all. And hopefully everyone just stay safe, be smart, stay safe. Okay, but we are still on because at this point, I've got nothing else to do now. So we wanted to keep this live video going. So with hurricane, and this is all related, I will say. I have to tell y'all a fun story with hurricanes. So again, I'm a native Floridian, lived in Florida pretty much all my life. My husband also is a native Floridian. And so hurricanes kind of are a way of life, even though ultimately we do not get greatly affected that often. Hurricane Michael would have been the last one. A lot of my family was affected. That's where we're from. And that was a Cat 5 storm. But I kind of have fond memories of hurricane days when schools would be out. And I know there's a lot of devastation, but as a kid, you don't really think of that. And whenever I was young, Hurricane Opal came through, which was a big storm. It was not a direct hit where we were, but it did affect us. Schools were shut down. And that was kind of my first major hurricane that I remember as a child. And with that, like, I remember playing Candyland with my mom by lantern lights, and it was just kind of a cool time as a kid. My parents, they may have been scared out of their minds, but they didn't let on. They were very chilled about it. But one cool thing was that was the first time that my dad actually cooked goulash, which it's not actual goulash. We call it goulash, and it's apparently a family type recipe that I didn't know about. And my dad also was not one to cook. Like, he would grill, but my mom did most of the cooking at the house. So it was kind of very surprising to me to see my dad cook, and he made this recipe. And I've just had such fondness for this recipe. I guess you can say it is like a comfort food, because that was the first time I experienced it was in a hurricane. And so I always think of that fondly. This recipe is actually posted. It's one of the exclusive recipes that are provided for the Grainy Bunch, which we've just launched, which we will talk more about that later. So those of you who are part of the Grainy Bunch, my goulash recipe, super secret recipe that my dad came and shared with us during a hurricane is on the website in your member portal. And we will get into the Grainy Bunch later. But I just wanted to share that with y'all since I'm in a hurricane yet again. No goulash though, but it's okay. I'm also in a public place right now because we just evacuated to a hotel. And so you may hear a lot of noise. I apologize. Okay. Oh, Julie says I'm enjoying a, I think, lemon blueberry muffin made with soft white wheat now. Oh, very cool. Very cool. All righty. So topic at hand today. Cancel culture is real. Will it affect me? Do I think it might affect me? What can we do about it? But we're also going to be getting into testimonies, because we haven't done testimonies for a while, about the amazing effect and healing power of real whole grains, because it's definitely something that more people need to hear about. And I have got some incredible, amazing recipes. So, all right, we got our grainies here. So Jessica's a grainy. Hey, Jessica. Lisa. I think I saw Barbara here. Yep, Miss Barbara, I'm a grainy. So like to see my grainies here. If you are a grainy, shout out in the comments. So super excited to see y'all. Kind of random, but that color looks great on you. Oh, thanks, Tammy. It's gray. That's my natural color. And with everything going on lately, I probably added a few more. So, and thanks to y'all for the comments about the haircut. It just, we had to let some go, but hopefully it'll grow back. Okay, so with Ellen's another grainy. All right, we got my grainies here. And Yvonne, I know we've added a lot of grainies, so it's super excited to have you here. Do know for the Grainy Bunch, we are having our first live hangout this Monday. The link for it and everything is in your member portal. And if you do want to join the Grainy Bunch and or find out more about this exclusive supporter group, then we have the link in the description box or in the comments, grainsandgrit.com/the Grainy Bunch. That's GRAINIE bunch to check it out. But I'm super excited for all my new grainies here. And we will eventually get back on topic. I promise. So with the cancer culture, the reason why I'm doing this, and so I'm sure many of y'all might wonder, like, why in the world I would even be talking about this, as in, what do I have to fear as far as cancel culture goes? And First and foremost, I actually have been canceled before. My husband and I ran a farmer's market. This was years ago, and we did experience that based on certain beliefs. So I was fully aware of cancel culture before that term even came about. So it is a thing. I've had it happen personally. It wasn't online. It was, kind of more of an in-person thing, a local thing, but it has happened and it is real. And we're seeing it more and more. The biggest things that have come out lately is Dr. Mercola being debanked by JP Morgan Chase, which he is actually in Florida. They're actually based out of Jacksonville, I believe, either Jacksonville or St. Augustine. So pray for them too, because they're also in this. But I love everything that they come out with. He really took a stand with the whole Corona 2020, all that crazy stuff. And then lo and behold, he actually gets debanked. They shut down his bank accounts. And those of his colleagues as well. And this is a news story. It happened earlier in August this month. So it is a legit thing. And to have your money cut off like that, your accounts shut down, is quite alarming. And I know that he's a big fish in the sea. And so you're thinking, well, he's just a big fish in the sea. It won't, affect me or maybe you. But I also know this was about a year ago. I don't know if y'all follow Stephanie with Homestead on Purpose on Instagram. I have been, and I believe it was about a year ago or at least several months ago, they were launching a new kind of membership type website that called Hello Homesteader. And as they were launching, Stripe pulled them as a payment processor. They shut them down. So Stripe is a big payment processor. So if you know of PayPal, PayPal is one of the big ones. Stripe is another big one as well. And as they were launching their website, Stripe shut them down payment wise, where they could no longer accept payments. And they were just a homesteader website. What they're doing is, just talking about homestead stuff, self-sufficiency. People can post land that's for sale. They can meet other homesteaders. It's a forum. It's a shop. It's no big deal, really, but their payment processor shut them down. And so this is a real thing. And especially when I heard about Hello Homesteader months ago, that's when my husband especially came to me and said, okay, we need to make some changes. And then we heard about Dr. Mercola being shut down, and we're like, we really need to make some changes because if you have purchased from me, so even if you signed up for my life masterclass, if even my course, that is all through Stripe. They are the ones they're my payment processor, or they were my payment processor, and taking those payments. And so that is a lot. And yes, Jess says, I think a lot of people are moving to Rumble. Yes, that's why, months ago, I started making sure that I am on Rumble. If you don't know, Rumble is an alternative to YouTube, and all my videos are posted on Rumble first. They are posted on Thursdays, and where now they're here. But cancel culture is a real thing, especially in the health realm, in the alternative health, or I would say more traditional health, because it's more what people have been doing for thousands of years. And that does include real whole grains. Consuming real whole grains has been the thing to be doing for thousands of years, that has been keeping humanity alive. And it actually helps people physically. It helps to give you better health. So I would call that more traditional medicine, but nowadays it's considered alternative medicine if people have been doing it for thousands of years. And if you can do it outside of a approved license, it's considered alternative. And so, yes, we have a real threat with things like self-sufficiency is a threat, because if you are more self-sufficient, you're less likely to need the government to come and help you. So yes, milling grains is a form of self-sufficiency because you're no longer needing to buy that bread from the store. Also storing food. If you're a prepper pantry, that is a form of self-sufficiency that definitely is a threat, which leads me to the sponsor of this video, which is Pleasant Hill Grain. I love Pleasant Hill Grain because I do see them as for this channel. I mean, they are one-stop shop. So people who ask like, which grain mill is your favorite? And if I don't have much time to answer, I kind of just send them to Pleasant Hill Grain because they have those wonderful grain mill comparison charts. Same with the mixers. Like the information's already there, on top of which they sell all of them. Like all the ones I would recommend, it would be Pleasant Hill Grain, but they also are excellent source for grains. They are the cleanest grains to date. They're the cleanest grains that I've seen. And I love that they're ready to go. I don't have to do anything to them. So they come in buckets. Most of them come in Mylar bags, and a lot of them are with oxygen absorbers as well. And they're sealed buckets. So I don't have to worry about, immediately getting out of a bag and into a bucket and make sure I have a good lid. It's already ready to go. So from a prepper standpoint, they're amazing. And I did mention, I think 2 videos ago, where they, if you buy a pallet's worth, there is a discount. So you can kind of form your own co-op together. So I love Pleasant Hill Grain because they are also not a woke company, which I am full-blown anti-woke. Say it as it is, which is enough to get me canceled. Just saying that, but I'm just going to say it. And so I'm definitely doing my best, the best of my ability, to not support the companies that are shoving this woke agenda down our throats. So define woke. So those who may not know what I mean is woke culture is those that are shoving, the transgender stuff down our throats, like the whole, Dylan Mulvaney and the Bud Light fiasco, all of this type of stuff, the homosexuality down our throat, there's crazy feminism. I mean, all of that stuff. How would I define woke culture? Ultimately it's anti-God, like blatantly anti-God. And again, what I'm saying alone might get me flagged on YouTube. I don't care, because Target's another one where I have boycotted Target for years now. I was one of the few when they came out with where men could go into women's restrooms and vice versa, that I stopped shopping at Target, and that was years ago. And so now if you go into Target, you see like it's all of this gay pride and transgender stuff and everything like that. I mean, even down to like things that babies wear. And no, I have nothing to do with it. So, Fluffy Otter says Palouse is woke. Oh, I'm not aware of that one. I'm going to have to look into that one. But yeah, okay. Glad I'm not the only one to boycott Target. Stopped going to Target 5 to 10 years ago. That was Dan. Kimberly says I boycotted Target for years too. Yeah. So when you see that type of agenda and it's anti-God, it's getting shoved down our throats. And the minute I see a man wearing makeup trying to sell a makeup brand, I am no longer supporting that brand. And it's starting to get a little bit harder, but that's just where I stand. So that's what I mean by woke. And Pleasant Hill Grain is one of those companies that I love to support, and they are not woke. They're just out there to sell their grains and the grain mills and the mixers and to help people like you and me out without shoving an anti-God down our throats. So that's why I do love them. Grainsandgrit.com/PhD is where you can go to shop for them. But another way of self-sufficiency is the fact that grains are healing, which is why we're going to be talking about testimonies, is if you were able to heal yourself without Big Pharma, that is so much money that has been taken away from Big Pharma. And that's where in Grace Hill Grain, what about Azure? No, I haven't seen anything with Azure Standard. As far as I know, they're farmers. They're selling their stuff, and that's cool. I haven't heard anything from them either. Bonnie, I won't have any part of Disney. Don't get me started on Disney. Do you know that we actually have never we have not allowed Disney in our house. So our children are actually not familiar. I mean, they know of Disney, but we don't do Disney. And from the beginning, we have always told no Disney. Anyway, that's a thing. But in a way, I see that that grains and grit, it's not just a business. It's not just a YouTube channel. It is a ministry because God's people are sick. And this message is truly changing lives. I hear so many testimonies from people. Sue Becker talks about it as well. Just so many testimonies from people who have gone to the medical establishment, to Big Pharma. And I'm grateful to have them when I need them. You know, if you break your arm, that's a good thing to have doctors there who can put it in a cast. If you truly need a life-changing surgery, that is important. As far as our trauma care, I'm very grateful to have, but so much of our medical industry in America, at least, is very much based on an evolutionary basis where they do not acknowledge that we were created by God, that we have an immune system, that He created our bodies in a certain way to react certain ways. Instead, if you look at it where we're just a random bunch of chemicals and that more chemicals can fix us, well, that's going to change the way that you look, that you look at the human body. So this is all, I am losing my notes here. I'm sorry. So this is all important. And Big Pharma is a big business, and you start taking business away from them and they tend to not to be happy. So that's why, again, and so that's why one day, yes, I may be canceled and it'll probably be something where the FDA comes at me and says that I am teaching that, grains is healing and you can heal yourself with whole grains. And while I definitely believe that and I've seen it, I am not telling you that. I'm just showing you a way of milling your wheat, the goodness that it is, and you as an adult can decide what to do. I'm not a medical doctor. This is not medical advice, but I'm showing you how to do it. And lo and behold, so many of y'all are seeing healing effects yourself and pulling thousands of dollars from Big Pharma because you were able to heal yourself. And that's also why I created the Grainy Bunch, which is our elite supporter group. Again, grainsandgrit.com/the Grainy Bunch to check it out. But these are elite supporters of this channel that are backing me up in, because I could be canceled one day, but I know that y'all have my back. Y'all are my brain trust, but it's also a community group that we're getting together. You have exclusive recipes and we can support each other on this milling journey and to receive the extra help that you may need, because these are skills that we have lost throughout time. It only took 2 or 3 generations to lose very basic skills that humans knew for thousands of years. And now there's a movement to regain them back. And that is part of the Grainy Bunch. So we built a platform that is off the system. The community group we have is on MeWe, which is it supports free speech as well as privacy. It's not selling your information to advertisers, unlike Facebook and other people. So it is a more freedom-loving platform. That is where our community group is. And then accessing material on my membership site. And then the payment processor we changed from the big dogs. The payment processor we use is actually a Christian-based company that is supporters of free speech and a non-cancel culture, non-woke culture. And that was important to me because, just trying to become self-sufficient on this side, on the YouTube side and on the business side. And that's one way that we do it. And the Grainy Bunch helps support that. They help support this channel. And in return, I give y'all some great bonuses too. So I'm really thankful for that. Kat Harvey says, pretty soon we're going to be like underground Christians hiding to worship Jesus in a way. Yeah. And we know that's coming because in Revelation it says it, and it's already happening in other places of the world. Christians, the true Christians, I would say, have always been persecuted in some way. We may not always hear about it, but it has always happened. If you were truly following the Lord, the world is going to hate you because Jesus said it would. It hated Jesus, crucified him, and they're going to hate us too. Okay. So, yeah. Kat says it just feels like anything good and right is being canceled. Pretty much. So if you see someone being canceled right now, I would start paying attention to them because they are probably saying something right. I mean, Tucker Carlson even got removed from Fox channel, which is baffling to me just from a business standpoint. I think it was a stupid move, but there you have it. Whether you like Tucker Carlson or not, it was legit. And then we're not even getting into all the bogus stuff that's happening to Trump. That's another video. So it is happening out there. The world is crazy. But someday, yes, I may be canceled because what we're going to be getting into next, which is our amazing testimonies. And again, this mainly deals with Big Pharma, but whenever you start milling your wheat and baking your own bread, you're also, you have the potential of not supporting big agriculture anymore because we're able to buy wheat berries directly from farmers, or at least smaller farmers, everything like that. And I really want to go with, I'm pulling up things right now on my phone, to talk about these testimonies because y'all, I'm telling you, I've been receiving some lately that have been amazing. The first one, if you haven't watched the interview yet, it is an interview I did with Michael Gropp. It's several videos back. Now on YouTube is the shortened, condensed version of the interview. For those of you in the Granny Bunch, you have the full length interview, and that's on the member portal as well. It was an amazing interview, but what was incredible with Michael is that she was in a gluten-free lifestyle. She was diagnosed with one autoimmune disease, and then she went on a very strict diet, and she did heal herself. But part of that was also being gluten-free. And then she developed another autoimmune disease, which was lupus. And then she discovered milling her grains, and she cured her lupus, an autoimmune disease, with grains, which is absolutely mind-blowing to do that, because autoimmune diseases, for those who may have been diagnosed with some, is generally seen as sorry, can't really do anything about it. And for those who don't know, an autoimmune disease is, in essence, whenever your body starts freaking out on you, it now is attacking itself. And in essence, it is crazy. It has gone absolutely wonky and crazy, and your body now sees itself as the enemy. And we are seeing this skyrocketing so much. But with Lyme's disease, I know that there's all this medication and stuff that she was told that she needed to take with her first autoimmune disease, which I think was Guillain-Barré syndrome. I cannot remember. I believe so. But she was even in a wheelchair with her first disease. Thousands of dollars being spent in the medical, with your typical traditional type medical facilities. And she cured herself through diet with the first one. She did it again with her second autoimmune disease, which with real whole grains, that should be the demon food, gluten and everything. But it's an amazing testimony. You need to go watch it. The second one actually is recently a friend of mine that I know. Her son has ADHD. Her son is young, so under 10 years old. And she just came to me one day and said that she was watching my videos. She bought a grain mill and she started milling her wheat because she just wanted to see how it would help, if it would help her son. And I know this kid, super smart kid. But yes, very, very hyper, and everything. And she said day one that she gave him food with freshly milled wheat. She said the first day was able to see a change in his behavior, which she just kind of said this. She's like very quiet, very meek and quiet type. And how she just said that. So I was like, wait, what? Like, you're just super chilled about this. I would be shouting this from the rooftop, but that's not her personality, and she's wonderful. But I was just blown away by this testimony. And all that she did was she just gave him the foods he liked. She just switched out the flour. So it was muffins and cookies and pancakes and waffles. And she just made it with freshly milled wheat instead of, either buying it from the store or using store-bought flour. So that's absolutely amazing. So that is with a child with ADHD. And then other ones I did reach out on Instagram asking for y'all's testimonies. And if y'all have your own testimony, start listing it in the comments in the live chat, because if I'm able to see it, I will definitely look for it. And if we have time as well, but other people will want to hear it. So even if I don't share it, people will still be able to read it. But this is one, oh, I did not save the name. I believe it was Emmy. Yeah, from Instagram. And she said that her daughter has eczema all over her arm, which I've noticed is a very common skin disorder nowadays. Like, so many people have eczema, psoriasis, things like that. She said creams were not helping, and I knew it needed to be treated from within. Last time I had milled was years before she was born. I began milling wheat again and simply started by putting it in cookies, as per Felicia's suggestion. She didn't mind the flavor, but I went slow so not to overwhelm her. And after just a couple of weeks, her skin was fully cleared and the eczema has not returned. I've been consistently baking sandwich bread since January. We all love it. I've been so pleased to kick store-bought bread to the curb. Now it's time to begin making the next thing. So that's an amazing testimony. So her daughter had eczema. She was just giving her cookies to start out with, which I know you might be freaking out like, oh, that's sugar and cookies. But it's still healing. It's still good for you with those good, amazing whole grains, which is awesome. All right. Cara says fresh milled flour healed my husband's IBS-D. I know what IBS is. Clarify what the D stands for. And since then, I was committed to getting fresh milled flour and grains into my family's diet every day. Yes. At the very least, as Sue Becker says, at the very least, you will no longer be constipated. So another testimony I have, and if you're wondering what I'm looking at, it's my phone. This is one, I didn't show the name again. Okay, this is Julie on Instagram. And she said, I've told you before I was gluten-free due to autoimmune issues, but I can eat freshly milled all day long with no reactions. However, I've been eating freshly milled for 10 months, and I think my gut is healing. Way less issues and reactions when I do cheat and eat gluten. I assume she means typical all-purpose flour. Went to an Italian restaurant and ate regular pasta and had no eczema reaction and very limited knee pain, which were her two strongest symptoms to gluten. Praise the Lord. I bought a mill without even trying freshly milled because I knew in my heart after listening to you and Sue Becker that this was an answer to prayer. So I'm not only eating bread again, but I think the bread is healing my leaky gut, which is awesome. So yes, I do believe that as well. So that's amazing that now where she couldn't have any sort of like gluten or store-bought flour before, now she can handle it because it is healing her gut as well. Okay, Cara said IBS. Okay, so IBS diarrhea, IBS-C is constipation. Oh, didn't know there was a difference. Good to know. Okay, so that's really great. All right, now another one. Now these, oh my word, as soon as they came in, I knew I was going to have to share them with y'all. So we have two here, and I have to switch to another screen. So I will not be able to see the comments right now, but these are amazing. So this is from Greg. This is a YouTube comment, and he said, just going to throw this out there. I have an undergraduate degree in biochemistry with a clinical doctorate. Impressive. My wife had warned me many times about my diet, father's diabetic, etc., despite me not being fat. So this is interesting because many times we associate if someone is fat that they are unhealthy, and therefore skinny means that they are healthy. But skinny does not always mean healthy. So he was not fat. He said I finally realized I was a thin glutton once I got down on my knees and gave it to the only one and true God, Jesus Christ. I find the bread literally 2 weeks later. After 3 weeks of gritting the grain, I noticed the skin tag in my right nostril had disappeared. Gone. Must have been a wart. My toenails are finally starting to become strong. I have gotten so many comments about how I lost weight despite not being fat. I noticed my appetite for meat has just naturally diminished. I find my sweet tooth is satisfied from these cookies and muffins with sugar cut at least a third to half the recipe requirement, because the sugar is only needed to enhance the flavor of the wheat, not provide the flavor with sweetness. My child hair growth picked up. My wife lost weight too. My child's skin rash went dormant. It has been a miracle. I felt so silly because it was right there in the Bible this entire time. I have researched galore. We have done vegan, tried keto, Weston Price, etc. My biggest obstacle was cravings. I could not get past those cravings beyond 2 weeks. Yeah, the 2 week mark seems to be when you hit a wall. Then finally, when I gave up my sin, my quest for food was over. I am free. I gave up my gluttony for food, and then God gave me his food in return. I love that so much. I mean, every time I hear these, I love it. Like, I get so excited and I just praise the Lord because, as he said, there it is in the Bible all along. I think God is up there so many times, like beating his head on a wall because he's like, hello, I gave you the food to eat. Just eat it. It's, if you're a parent, try to get toddlers to eat your vegetables. That's God with us. That is how God is with us. And so that is just, like amazing with these testimonies because yes, this is the food that God's given you. Just eat the food God has given us in the closest way it is possible, but also recognizing if, there is sin in your life and make it right. And then the Lord will help you from then. So this is another one that was also just incredible when I read it and I lost it. So let me get it back. Okay. So this is from another YouTube comment, Mama Bird. I'm 75. So she's 75 years old, had bad night hives, as in it would wake me up at 3 a.m., covered in huge hives. Doctors could not pinpoint the cause. After several medications tried to no avail, doctors said to try Allegra. I did it. It worked, but the doctor said she would probably have to take it the rest of her life. And in capital letters, she says, not gonna happen. So I went on research hunt for answers, stumbled on Sue Becker bread videos, and thought it's worth a shot. Now, first, I'm not a bread eater, period. Just never cared for it. But I was desperate. So bought a mill and hard red wheat and emmer wheat and made bread. It was so tasty. Did this for 3 weeks, still taking Allegra. So she's now been on Allegra a year. And then she got brave one night and skipped the Allegra and did not wake up with hives, but thought, well, maybe it's just the Allegra built up in my system. So the next night she did no Allegra, but also no hives, and thought, hey, maybe this is going to work. Kept up 2 slices of bread a day, so not a ton, 2 slices of bread a day and no hives. But then one night she forgot to eat bread one day and she woke up with hives coming on. And this made me laugh. So I'm eating bread at 2:30 a.m. and it stopped. This has now been nearly 3 years, not an ounce of weight gain. In fact, I've now lost 12 pounds in that time, not trying. It's just slowly coming off. And at 75 years old, that's amazing. I'm happy with those side effects. I take no medications at all, except for the eye drops for glaucoma, and that's it, which at 75 is amazing. I used to work with seniors, and every single one of them was on some sort of medication. It would at least be cholesterol and high blood pressure. So for her to not be taking those medications at 75 is super, super rare. And this was over a decade ago when I was working with seniors. So she says, I like to keep my doctor in his office. If I need him, he's there, not in my cabinet. I thank God for guiding me to this real bread life. And again, that is an amazing testimony. So, so hives. She was dealing with hives. She was eating bread. She was able to drop it. And then the one night one day she didn't eat bread. She got hives. And then she was up at 2:30 a.m. eating bread. And then it stopped and it went away, which is absolutely amazing. Yeah, Kat, I want to be that healthy at 75. Yes, agreed. Okay, so I do get Kat Harvey. I would love to be able to heal my Hashimoto's disease. If you have Hashimoto's, I would like for you to reach out to me and tell me how it's going for you with freshly milled wheat, because I will say I have been receiving conflicting information, and this is information that's very difficult for me to research, because Hashimoto's is the one thing that everyone immediately says to give up gluten. and yet it's also kind of difficult to get testimonies from those who have Hashimoto's, because I have seen some that says they're able to handle it no problem. I've received some that says wasn't able to handle it. So I don't know if it's one of those really tricky ones where there's a lot of factors. For those who do not know, Hashimoto's is an autoimmune disease dealing with the thyroid. So yeah. And okay, let me check my list here. What do I got? And yeah, so those are some amazing testimonies, and I receive these even more, and I love hearing your testimonies. I do. Don't ever stop sending me your testimonies. Please comment on YouTube videos with your testimonies, because more and more people need to see this, because it truly is amazing, the fact that people eating bread are healing themselves. Bread, like the evil of all evils these days, but you're able to heal yourself. You don't get that from white flour. You don't get that from eating Cheetos or M&Ms or anything like that. But the fact that people are healing themselves with the food that I find interesting that Jesus compared himself to. There's a whole sermon there. It's just astounding and absolutely amazing. Okay, so let me see here. Okay, so James Harris says a lot of wheat is sprayed with Roundup. I would slightly disagree with this. Roundup is definitely demonized nowadays, glyphosate. And for this, you have two options. One, buy organic, because it cannot be sprayed with glyphosate or Roundup if it's organic. But two, just ask the farmer. I know like Farm Fresh Wheat, for example. I've interviewed them about a year ago. They're farmers up in Washington, Oregon, can't remember. They are conventional wheat farmers, but they do not use glyphosate or Roundup. So just ask them. If you want to buy wheat from someone, ask them, contact the wheat farmers. Most of them have contact forms or phone numbers, and just ask them what they use. But I've actually yet to talk to a wheat farmer that says, oh, absolutely, we use glyphosate. So while I think it is used, it's definitely easy. I would say it's easy to get wheat berries that have not been sprayed with that. As your standard, of course, Pleasant Hill Grain, nothing. I think all of their wheat berries are organic. They are never sprayed with glyphosate at all. And there are other companies as well. Okay, so let me look through these comments to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. Jane C., what have you heard about freshly milled versus gluten-free for autism? Let me think. I do not know if I received a testimony with that. Now, again, I'm not a medical doctor. This is not medical advice. But I believe in whole grains so much, with the exception unless you are truly celiac or have a true wheat allergy. I know for me personally, I would use myself as a guinea pig and go from there. But I know with autism, more and more research is coming out that gut health is so crucial to those who are autistic. And I know that real whole grains feeds and helps your gut. So I would say, based putting those two things together, that it could possibly help, not hurt, but possibly help. But again, I actually have not heard many testimonies with autism specifically. If you have one, please let me know. But there you go. Okay, let me see here. What else we have? We're going to be wrapping this up soon because we are reaching almost 45 minutes. Okay, what about sprouted wheat and just whole wheat berry hot cereal, a cracked wheat cereal if you don't eat bread often? Yeah, absolutely. Grace Hill Granny, that is still whole grains. I would do it yourself, so still buy wheat berries and make your own cream of wheat, or you just boil the wheat berries, or you just crack the wheat berries, or you sprout them yourself. I would do that yourself to maintain the maximum amount of nutrition. But yeah, that's still whole grains, and that's still great. I'm waiting on the next sale so I can just buy the Nutrimilk. Okay, I will go ahead and tell you, I can tell you, there are sales coming up for Labor Day. So be sure, if you're not already part of my newsletter, I will let you know via newsletter I will announce it on Instagram, but especially my weekly newsletter or just my email list total. I just always send you out if there's a sale. And I have been told there's a sale for Labor Day, which is coming up. So if you've been waiting for something, big ticket item, I'm going to let you know about it. I cannot give you details right now, but sales are coming up. All right. Have you heard any feedback from any type 1 diabetics? My daughter is one, and I know freshly milled wheat would be great for her overall, but I'm curious about the sugars. Adrian asked me that. And okay. Yeah. So I do know this. I know that type 2, I have received testimonies from type 2 diabetics of reversing their diabetes, which I know type 2 generally can be reversed. Type 1, especially as a child, usually you might be stuck with it. But I will say this, if you were to Google it, it does take some searching. But the beauty with real whole grains, so the whole wheat berry is it's actually low on the glycemic index. So it's not going to spike those blood sugars. And I have been told over and over again from people who are diabetics that they can consume real whole grains, freshly milled wheat, and it not spike their blood sugar. So I do know that. I have heard multiple testimonies of people who are diabetics able to handle this bread because it's not spiking the blood sugar. It's excellent. Excellent to have. Okay, so we are going to be wrapping up. I do want to thank again Pleasant Hill Grain for sponsoring this video and for being a sponsor for Grains and Grit, for believing this message enough where they are willing to build their business. So much of their business is on this message with real whole grains, milling them, using them, all the things. So grainsandgrit.com/PHG. Thank you for supporting this channel and for not being one of those crazy woke companies that I would have to no longer support. And also, remember, you can check out the Grainy Bunch, our exclusive supporter group for all the fun things. And that's grainsandgrit.com/the Grainy Bunch. But let us remember that true health, as we said in the live chat, is a threat to Big Pharma. And I say, let's continue to be a threat. Do things the Lord's way. Let's do things as close to the Lord's way as we possibly can, because the closer you walk with the Lord, the more the world will possibly hate you, but yet the freer that you will be, because Jesus said that only He is the way, the truth, and the life, and that His burden is light. His yoke is easy, and His burden is light. And so it is a leap of faith sometimes, but you got to take that leap of faith and trust in the Lord. All right. I know, go woke, go broke, Dan Phillips. Yes. And we have that power with our dollars. So support with your dollars. And that can change, because businesses, they listen to the money. All right, y'all. So thank you so very much for being here. Again, if you're wondering where I am, for those who joined late, we are in the middle. We are getting hit by Hurricane Idalia that will be affecting us. So prayers appreciated. I will try to keep y'all updated, but praying for all my fellow Floridians and anyone affected by this hurricane. Just trust in the Lord, because it's in His hands. And remember that Jesus was the one who was able to calm the waves and the storm when He was in that boat, because this is all in His hands. So thank you so much, y'all. Again, check out Pleasant Hill Grain, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.